In the headlines tonight, excitement in the air as Uganda successfully sends its first ever satellite into space. Inspector General of Police orders closure of police posts following attacks by unknown armed assailants on uniformed men. Uganda Prison Service suspends visiting of prisoners in Ebola-affected districts.
Prison units, courts and community work are suspended in the above-mentioned districts.
And in sports, national under-19 team prepares itself for clash against host Sudan in Khartoum. A very good evening to you. I trust your weekend went well. This is CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on sign language. In our top story tonight, a huge milestone where Uganda has successfully launched its first satellite, the Pearl Africa Sat-1 satellite, into space. The launch took place at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration Operations Center in Virginia. The satellite was invented by 3 Ugandan engineers with the help of Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. Take a look.
4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
We have liftoff of Norfolk Grumman's 18th commercial resupply services mission. The SS Sally Ride has begun its journey to the first stage is performing nominally.
It was all joy and cheers as Ugandans witnessed history in the making with the launch of its first ever satellite into space at 1:30 p.m. this afternoon.
Making Uganda the best.
Hundreds of Ugandans led by Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, watched the live launch at the Kololo Independence Ground, where they kicked off the annual National Science Week.
AM Central Time.
According to Minister Musenero, the satellite will help in the agricultural sector, monitoring of weather, and mineral mapping as well.
Many agencies in Uganda are going to be beneficiaries of the data. We have the Minister of Agriculture is going to be a beneficiary in planning our agricultural production. The Minister of Minerals, Energy and Minerals is going to be a very immediate beneficiary. The Minister of Water is going to be an immediate beneficiary. Disaster preparedness, security, defense, they are all going to be immediate beneficiaries from this program.
Bonnie O'Mara, one of the 3 engineers who created the satellite, revealed some of the features on the satellite.
It is equipped, it's a machine that will help you and me to understand what is happening on Earth. Why we get to that ISS, International Space Station, because we want to have a wider view and a wider coverage.
The scientist adds that the satellite is likely to last from up to 30 to 50 years.
Journey from April 2020 up to this year 2022 when we handed over to JAXA. So I could say approximately maybe 18 months. Yeah.
Some people we spoke to had this to say about the launch of Pearl Africa Sat-1 into space.
But from the 54, only 12 have satellites launched. Uganda is going to be the 13th. It's pride for Uganda. It's a big achievement.
Very grateful for our country for solely sponsoring this innovation, and we look forward to utilizing it to the best of our ability in the country.
Ugandans have also been urged to embrace creativity and innovation. The Uganda National Science Week will go on until Thursday. It is being held under the Uganda 2040 theme, which implores the youth to come up with innovative ideas to help spur development. Hope Nyongereza, CTV PM Edition.
Some great strides there indeed. Moving on, police have decided to close at least 129 police posts around the country following a spate of attacks on the men in uniform which have resulted into death or theft of guns. According to the police, some of the police have been merged to improve on service delivery. However, some members of parliament have not bought into the move. Sarah Nakandi has the details.
Last week in Busika, Ruwero district, a known as Silence Armed to the Tooth, attacked a police post where they killed 2 officers, an officer in charge of investigations and a police constable, and
actually began. Here we have, as of today, we have 129 police posts that are being piloted to see the practicable, enable the sub-county policing units to have a more strengthened and unified base at that level.
Inanga says they have directed resources and manpower in the posts that have been merged for efficient delivery services.
We have directed a number of logistical resources and manpower, including the manpower that has been merged. So we expect a better and more efficient and effective delivery of services.
Some members of parliament we spoke to today have spoken out against the move.
I don't support the closure and the merger of police posts throughout the country. What I support is that we give enough money to police. Police is the only sector that receives 100% of its budget.
It is an erratic decision by the administration of the police to phase out the police posts. It is a wrong decision. It is this parliament that is in charge of the appropriation of resources. If the funds are not sufficient for the police, we request the police come here with additional requests to parliament, and then we see where we can get money.
Richard Lumu, the Mityana South Member of Parliament, says police have abandoned their move of protecting Ugandans.
My concern is the security of the people, because the mandate of the police is in Article 212 of the Constitution. The functions of the police is to protect the people first and their property. Now, if the police is attacked and the police decides to run away, I don't know the local people are remaining with the who, because I will not use a simpler word. I will use the word running away, because they are giving a reason that since they are attacked, they have to go away.
Last week, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, condemned the acts of violence against police officers and ordered the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to look into the claims of refusing to better facilitate the police and diversion of operation funds. Flavia Ninkuze and Sarah Nakandi for CTV, PM Edition.
Switching to matters court has today adjourned the pre-trial session of detained members of parliament Alan Sewanyana, Mohamed Segirinya, and other co-accused persons. This was after one of their lawyers, Shamim Malande, reported to court that state prosecutors in this matter have failed to avail documents of the witnesses. The details.
Legislators Mohamed Segirinya and Alan Sewanyana and their co-accused today appeared in court on a matter concerning the witnesses going to testify against them in court. However, court was not able to proceed with the marking of documents. Defense lawyer Shamim Malende reported to court that the state had not yet availed the documents to her. According to Malende, she has done everything possible to get the documents, but the prosecutors have not been cooperative and have declined to avail them.
I sent him my legal secretary and told him that if it's hard for you, you can give the documents to my legal secretary to pick them. But to date, Your Lordship, no document has been served to me, the disclosures.
We took all the due diligence, my lord. There was no reason why we couldn't serve a person in her capacity not only a lawyer, an advocate, but a honorable member of parliament. There could have been just a small mistake, but my lord, we shall rectify it. We shall ensure that we serve.
Malende also revealed to quote that she was denied access to her clients at Chigo prison despite carrying the necessary requirements.
The COVID certificate, the COVID card, vaccination card, the ID for member of parliament, Kampala district, the Uganda Law Society ID, everything, the masks. I carried everything because I did not want them to get an excuse. I reached there and they told me, in the country there is Ebola, so you cannot access the prison.
If they want to meet their clients, I can advise them to go to the prison's headquarters and seek clearance to come to the prison and interview or see a client.
Lawyers also sought for private moments with their clients, citing that prison warders do not give them the space.
We've never had any private moment, even for 5 minutes. Even 1 minute with our clients, because when we are with them, the prisons are around, and it breaches the confidentiality which we intend to have with them. We are not people who want to commit an offense.
When given an opportunity to speak, Alan Sewanyan and Muhammad Segirinya agreed with their lawyers to adjourn the matter until their lawyers are fully served with the necessary documents of the witnesses.
Instruction is fetwazibawa okuteekayo direct petition wakanya ensalo gye wasalo wekitiibwa omulamuzi ng'egamba nti abaire tuwaako obujulizi balina babika bibulanketi bisuukasuuka babateeka embikutiya ng'ate ffe tuli bantu.
Nzikiriziganya ne lawyer wange kubanga njagala ensonga zange kooti eya ssemateeka nayo yennyini ezinyonyoleko naddala n'akawayiro akakwatagana ku nsonga y'okubika abajulizi ate abagenda okutuwaako obujulizi.
Other co-accused, who include Michael Serada, Jackson Kanyike, told court that they were forced to make statements on gunpoint, yet they were arrested on different charges.
nabo basooke bajje mu kkomera ngaffe bakwata bagamba tubakubali abasajja obujulizi nabo basooke bayingire mu kabula muliro gye tuli eyo basooke bajje bakwaki bitebye bulungi
kubanda livati nga bakwata kafiyu kati eno gye simanyirako.
The matter was adjourned till 5th December for mention. Flavian Inkuze for CTV, PM edition.
The briefing of pupils going to sit their primary leaving examinations has today been concluded. Over 832,810 candidates countrywide are expected to sit their final papers on November 8th and 9th at a time when the country is facing an Ebola outbreak.
I know what I'm doing and
The briefing of Primary 7 pupils kicked off this morning at various primary schools all over the country. During the briefing, head teachers were tasked with informing the candidates of the circumstances which may lead to disqualification or cancellation of their examinations. Such conditions include smuggling of unauthorized materials inside the examination centers, copying from one another, and external assistance given by teachers or invigilators, among others. At Chitante Primary School in Kampala, we found pupils in the main hall carefully listening to the instructions in the briefing session. According to Jen Chakua, the headmistress of Chitante Primary School, guidelines to prevent the spread of Ebola have been put in place, and this will not affect the pupils going to sit for their exams.
We have all the SOPs in place. We've got hand washing facilities everywhere in all corners, and our children have been taken through Ebola, so they know what it's all about and they know what to do. And as a school, we've prepared many rooms for the candidates so that they will not overcrowd in one room.
The headmistress is also confident that her pupils will pass with flying colors.
Our children have been prepared so well. Our teachers have done tremendous work of teaching the young ones. We complete the syllabus in term 2, so term 3 has just been revision. And I'm sure they will make it. They will all pass with flying colors.
Candidates with special needs have also been catered for.
We've got minor special needs like stammering. Most of them stammer. Yes, 4 of them, by the way, and these have been added more 45 minutes. We've got some people who will come in to help them from UNEB because we informed them earlier, so they are aware and they will be here tomorrow.
Some of the candidates we spoke to showed their optimism.
I believe that we are all going to come out with the best first aggregates because our teachers have put in a lot of work. We have confidence and we believe that we'll make it. Just prepare for the best from Chitante Primary School.
Prepared so well that the teachers taught us everything. And the year in science, I feel so prepared that I will pass.
I'm very, very prepared for the exams. I've been revising so much with our teachers.
Last week, the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, directed all schools across the country to allow people who have been isolated because they are contacts of patients infected with Ebola to sit for their primary leaving examinations, PLOE, slated to start tomorrow.
So I want to reassure the public that as a ministry, we are working with the sister government ministries and agencies to ensure that we have a successful PLE conducted within the broad framework of Ebola SOPs as announced by the President recently.
The primary 7 candidates will start with their examination tomorrow with the math paper, followed by social studies in the afternoon, and on Wednesday, the learners will sit for a science paper and end with English. Tony Patila Humza, CTV, PM Edition.
I wish you success.
Thank you, Tony. All the best to the candidates. Moving on, Kampala Metropolitan Police has impounded several motorcycles in an operation geared at reducing on the number of accidents happening on a daily basis. A surveillance video released by the police at the beginning of the month showed the different border accidents around the country, shocking many.
The last traffic report released by police indicated that on a daily basis, 4 people in Uganda perish in border accidents. This was partly seen in a police CCTV video released by police a few days ago. To reduce the number of accidents involving these riders, police have once again launched an operation targeting motorcycles, especially the border riders without road equipment. A number of motorcycles were impounded today, including those belonging to organizations. According to Kampala Metropolitan Traffic Police Commander Rogers Nsereko, this will help reduce road carnage.
So we are trying to reduce on the number of border crashes, not only in the city, in the whole of Uganda, because if you checked our statistics, most people involved in these accidents are pedestrians. Then the next category is border riders. You get it? So this is the category that we are trying to put our main effort on to ensure that they reduce on these road crashes.
Nsereko further explained the purpose of the operation.
The beginning of border operations today, 7th November 2022, on helmet use and reflector jacket use, wearing. You all know that we are getting so many accidents and we're losing so many people in road crashes, mostly involving border riders, where we lose the border rider and we also lose the passengers they are carrying. So it is imperative now that we ensure that we begin to use safety measures like the use of the helmet, because the helmet will protect you, will protect your head of severe injuries.
Because of this operation, many of the border riders have somehow responded to the police call of wearing reflective jackets, helmets, while others have chosen to oppose the move. This operation in Kampala Metropolitan comes a few months after KCCA concluded with the registration of border riders, but to this date, the exact number of motorcycles in the city are not yet known by KCCA. Safi Mwakili Belego and Chris Semalemu Semakula, CTV, PM Edition.
PM Edition returns shortly with more stories after the break.
Do you love me?
Very much. I'll catch you one day. Pants down. I want to spoil you. I want you to eat my money.
She believes I'm in love with her guy.
Nico, if I had to live everywhere I'm not loved, where would I end up?
The dirty guy hides in the hospital for 40 years, but at night, he walks the streets, commits crimes, and then he comes back and pretends to be her life again.
I will break you, Spooky. Do not answer any question about Roho kwa Roho. He's your brain!
Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
It's in the air! Will that be
Recharge your day with Sting. Extreme energy, refreshing taste, available countrywide. Sting, life switched on, from the makers of Pepsi.
Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. The Commissioner General of Police has cancelled visits to districts that have been affected by the Ebola virus. According to the Uganda Prison Service, this move aims at preventing the spread of the deadly virus. The details.
Some of the prisons that have been shut down from members of the general public are in the districts of Mubende, Kasanda, Kampala, Mukono and Wachiso. The announcement was made today by the spokesperson of Uganda Prison Services, Frank Vine, at the weekly security briefing in Naguru, where he revealed that the move is being made in the interests of protecting prisoners against a deadly virus.
Visitation to all prisons, prison units, courts and community work are suspended in the above-mentioned districts.
On the other hand, he revealed that lawyers will be allowed to see their clients.
Advocates and other lawyers, theirs is a special case and they need to contact headquarters for clearance. And this is done in order to ease access to justice by the inmates.
The prison services have also suspended the referral of sick prisoners outside the prison's health system.
For prisoners who fall sick in the respective areas or even countrywide, they are not supposed to be rushed to the public hospitals. They would rather be referred into our internal system.
Prison warders have been urged to be vigilant in following the standard operations procedures so as not to get infected with the Ebola virus.
Staff on duty, whether in court or on any other special duty, should ensure that they have masks. And those medical, especially the medical teams, should have the PPEs.
At the moment, all community works that the prisoners have been involved in the districts of Mubende, Kasanda, Kampala, Wakiso and Mukono have been suspended. So far, no prisoner or prison officer has contracted the Ebola virus. Sharon Twebaze, CTV PM Edition.
Moving on, the Chikuba District Commissioner has ordered police to investigate two top officials of Moving on. The Chikube Resident District Commissioner has ordered police to investigate two top officials of Changwali Dairy Cooperative for alleged financial impropriety of over 1.1 billion shillings. The officials are being accused of failing to account for 500 million shillings given to them by the Uganda Development Bank. Take a look.
The RDC's directive followed allegation of embezzlement by the chairperson board and general manager of Changwali Dairy Cooperative in Chaushesha, Changwali Sub-County, Chikobe District. According to the RDC Amlan Tumusimi, the cooperative illegally acquired a loan of 600 million shillings from Uganda Development Bank, which was also misappropriated. Chairperson of the board, Edward Tumwesije, and General Manager Julius Kwesiga are also being accused of failure to account for shillings 500 million savings from the deduction of 100 million per litre of milk.
They went to the bank, Uganda Development Bank, without even the consent of the members, borrowed the 600 million shillings for the members, but the board chair decided to, one, deposit 150 million shillings on his individual account for reasons he cannot explain. Two, he decided to single-handedly procure some of the heifers, about 50 of them. He says he bought each at a cost of 2.75 million shillings. That costed about 130 million shillings. But all these things he was doing it without the consent of the members.
Following a closed meeting in the RDC's office, the Chikobe Resident District Commissioner Amlan Tumusime revealed that he had ordered police to open a general inquiry file into the matter.
Yet the chairman alleges that they sat and they resolved. But the vice chairman says we have never sat, everything we don't know. They even levy 100 shillings per litre. They have been doing this for 4 years. They don't even, the members don't know where this money goes. It's in millions and millions and millions. So me, I cannot be here as another this and I see people misusing their offices.
Members accused their board chairperson of incompetence, which has affected the smooth operation of the cooperative, and want the duo to pay back the money. Recently, Julius Kwesiga, the cooperative manager, asked members to forgive them as they forge ways to refund the money.
ngubona baburowingire sente nako batahana basasura kandi kirungi na auditor na chamia akagamba nabo bakonsentinga kusente bakazitwara.
In September, members contracted an audit firm carried out a special audit report which implicated the board chairperson and the general manager for causing a financial loss to the cooperative. Changwali Dairy was constructed by the government under the Community Agriculture Infrastructure Improvement Project 2. With funding from the African Development Bank, ADB, the cooperative has a total number of 149 members.
In the regional news, Tanzania's Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa led mourners in paying their respects at a funeral service on Monday for the 19 victims of a plane crash in Lake Victoria. And in anticipation of its release this coming week, Disney Marvel's Black Panther continued its promotional tour with a historic premiere in Lagos, Nigeria on Sunday evening. Tanzania's Prime Minister will lead mourners in paying their respects for the 19 victims of a plane crash in Lake Victoria. The accident happened on Sunday morning when the plane overshot Bukoba's airport runway, crashing into the water. According to the operator, Precision Air, the plane carried on board 43 people, of which 24 survived. The funeral service will be held at the Bukoba Football Stadium, according to the area's regional commissioner, Albert Chalamila. Precision Air is a publicly listed company partly owned by Kenya Airways and Tanzania's largest private carrier. In March 2019, an Ethiopian Airlines flight from Addis Ababa to Nairobi plunged 6 minutes after takeoff into a field southeast of the Ethiopian capital, killing all 157 people on board. In anticipation of its release this coming week, Disney Marvel's Black Panther Wakanda Forever continued its promotional tour with a historic premiere in Lagos, Nigeria on Sunday evening. This a major event and the first time a Marvel movie has held a premiere locally with a large group of talent, filmmakers and press on hand for the black carpet rollout. The sequel to the $1.348 billion grossing original picture played across multiple screens at Filmhouse Cinemas in IMAX Lekki. The team has been making rounds, including a world premiere in LA and a European debut at Cineworld Leicester Square in London last week. The Nigerian premiere was held in association with the Africa International Film Festival and Film One Entertainment and celebrated the movie's African heritage. Wakanda Forever opens in Nigeria on November 11th, in step with the U.S. international release, which begins on November 9th in France, among others, with global rollout continuing through the weekend. On the international scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres opened the COP27 summit with a speech in which he urged nations to focus on global warming and its hazardous impacts, further brought to light by the war in Ukraine. In his speech at the 27th session of the UN Climate Change Conference in Egypt, the Secretary General revealed that the world is on a highway to climate hell with its foot on the gas pedal. Guterres called upon world leaders to focus on the growing urgency of climate change and its hazards, further accelerated by the ongoing war in Ukraine. Though China is the world's biggest current emitter of greenhouse gases, President Xi Jinping made it clear that he will not be attending this session of the COP. President Joe Biden will be attending after the midterms. The participation of these two countries is crucial as the US and China together are responsible for 40% of the world's gas emissions. The COP is also the occasion for climate activists to be heard, many of them peacefully protesting for animal rights. The Paris Agreement, that included 55 countries, including the US and China, aimed to limit global temperature increases to 2 degrees Celsius. Nearly 7 years later, the goal has not been met, and emerging countries such as Egypt, who pollute less but suffer the most from climate hazards, are seeing their historical treasures menaced by the rising of sea levels and their populations impoverished. The COP27 is the occasion for northern countries and southern ones to discuss better solutions in putting an end to climate-related hazards. We return shortly with more news from the world of sports. You are still watching CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamazi on sign language. In the world of sports, the head coach of the national under-20 team, the Hippos, has revealed that he is ready to take on the side from Sudan tomorrow in the first game of the CECAFA Zonal Championship in Khartoum. Mayanja had this to say.
COVID has started bringing problems here. People coming in saying their players have COVID, like in the last game or group game against Ethiopia. That's what happened also about COVID things. You know, this is politicking is not so good. But the good thing that the manager has tried to make sure that we have made all our private COVID tests and everybody is free of COVID, so we shall wait for what we have done now. That's when we can now try to think about who is to start tomorrow, who doesn't start, who is out. Otherwise, the team is okay, we're ready.
Thank God for giving us a chance to reach the semi-finals. We've prepared well, we've had nice trainings, and we have no injury. So we'll make sure we take on Sudan and we come back victorious.
We have come to the end of tonight's edition. Thank you for staying tuned in and thank you for keeping it CTV. Catch us here same time, same place. From the entire team, we wish you a good night and be blessed.